All right, hello and welcome to the video. My name is Wade Smith, and this is entitled Isshinryu Karate, Why Both Sean Strickland and the Navy SEAL who was rebuking Sean Strickland are wrong. All right. I am both a ridiculously good fighter and a really, really good real-time strategy game player. And I've learned that adding rules to a game or fight does not help the noob at all, and taking rules away from a game or fight does not help the noob at all. All right. So you're both wrong. All right. This is an example in StarCraft. The noobs used to think that if they made a rule that the pro couldn't rush them for 20 minutes, that somehow helped the noob. Well, in the 20 minutes, I scout all the noobs on the other team and know exactly what they're doing. And in the 20 minutes, I'm able to make 20 production structures and 250 cannons and a 200 army that counters everything that all three of my opponents are doing. And I'm sitting there looking at the timer and I'm like, all right, in exactly 1 second, I attack. I mop the floor with all three opponents by myself before my allies even realized I went ahead and attacked. All right. Because they have no clue what they're doing. That's how bad a pro can beat a noob at a strategy game. And that's how bad a pro can beat a noob in a fight. Okay. And it doesn't matter what the rules are. If there were no rules, the best thing they could do is actually rush me. So no rush doesn't even help them. All right. If there were no rules, the best thing they could all do is rush me before I get my economy going. Because if I actually get my economy going, I'm going to mop the floor with all three of them in that game. And that's how a fight is. If you add rules to a fight, it helps the better fighter. And if you take rules away from the fight, it helps the better fighter. That's the truth of the matter. All right, so adding or subtracting rules does not help the noob win a fight. It doesn't. And as for who would beat who between a real fight between a UFC fighter and a Navy SEAL or a U.S. Marine, and I'm not talking about the grunts that only get trained at blue belt level in the Marine Corps. I'm talking about the Marine Corps instructors who were in fact trained by one of my own senseis. All right, they were themselves trained by one of my instructors, and I can beat them, by the way. They already proved that they can beat the UFC fighters in literally 10 seconds flat in stand-up, and that they're no worse than 50-50 at ground game. They've done it 2 or 3 times in the past 10 years. They brought in the champions of every weight class, and the U.S. Marines curb stomped them in stand-up and embarrassed them and explained that we have to be able to kill somebody in 10 seconds flat in a real fight in the military. That I don't have time to fill you out, he told them. That I have to just go ahead and kill you and get it over with. All right? And so the Marines flat out curb stomped the UFC champions in stand up, and they were no worse than 50-50 at throws and ground game than the UFC champions. Because I've seen the videos of both times that I know of that they've done it in the past 10 years. So the truth of the matter is the Marines beat the UFC fighters, and I beat people trained by my sensei, the 2nd degree black belt, and he's the one that trained the Marine instructors. So where does that tell you where you guys are? Okay, because I can 1-on-2 those guys.